Thank you so much, Punita, for handing over the days and the day to me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again, and thank you for joining us at the 11th edition of Global Hospitality Conclave, a heartfelt forum in the true spirit of Oberoi, presenting an exceptional mix of shared heritage, of the Oberoi excellence, and emerging new ideas in the world of hospitality and, of course, the world. It gives me immense pleasure to begin the conclave with the Rai Bahadur MS Oberoi Memorial Lecture, a befitting tribute to a visionary whose legacy continues to define the ethos of hospitality in India and beyond. Rai Bahadur MS Oberoi was not only the architect of a world-class institution, but also the custodian of values of excellence, grace, and an unwavering commitment to people, which laid a robust foundation upon which the Oberoi Group stands strong even today. Today, we are honored to have with us Dr. Lalit Bhasin to deliver the Rai Bahadur Memorial Lecture. Before I invite Dr. Bhasin on stage, we have a short film that showcases the extraordinary life of Rai Bahadur and the journey of Oberoi Hotels that began 92 years ago. Enjoy. Dr. Bhasin, ladies and gentlemen, is one of India's most respected legal luminaries, with a career spanning over 6 decades. Some of the key appointments held by him include President Society of Indian Law Firm, Managing Partner Bhasin and Company, immediate past President, the Bar Association of India, Founder Chairman, India Committee, Section of International Law, American Bar Association. In the past, Dr. Bhasin has served as an EIH board member for a period spanning for almost 15 years. Among many other distinguished awards, Dr. Bhasin has been bestowed with the plaque of honor by the Prime Minister of India for outstanding contribution to the rule of law, the National Law Day Award by the President of India, Lifetime Achievement Award at the House of Lords, UK, also honored by the Honorable Chief Justice of India for completing 50 years in the legal profession. He has authored several books from a lens of how law shapes media, business, labor, global affairs, and political change. His guiding mantra is to set goals in life and to remember there are no shortcuts. One has to climb the ladder step by step to attain the goal. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Bhasin.
Can someone lend me their wristwatch, because I want to stick to the time, you see. Anyone? No, I want to know how much, you see, because that is one thing which I learned from Rai Bahadur, MS Oberoi, a stickler for time. If you have a commitment, if you have, you see, some audience, then you must stick to the time. I remember Rai Bahadur had an appointment with Mr. V.S. Dempo in Goa to sign the agreement for Oberoi Bogmalo Beach Hotel. Both of us were in Bombay. And next day Mr. Dempo had to leave for overseas, and the meeting had been fixed at 10 a.m. in the morning, and we were in Bombay. So everyone said, how will you reach? You see, 10 a.m. and the agreement has to be signed before Mr. Dempo leaves. So someone suggested only way to go is to go by car. So he and I and Mr. Jaswant Singh Bhatia, we left by car, drove the whole night and reached that there was only one Mandavi hotel in Goa at that time, on the banks of Mandavi. We reached there at about 8 a.m. and were ready to sign the agreement with Mr. Dempo. So that is one quality which I have learned from him and which has stood, you see, the test of time so far as I am concerned. Mr. Vikram Oberoi, Mr. Arjun Oberoi, the distinguished ex-Oberois. I can even say some of them as my students, because I was also a part of the Oberoi School of Management as a faculty member. So possibly some of them must have benefited or become aware of some aspects of law. I thank Mr. Bakaya and Mr. Naveen Jain in particular, and above all Mr. Arjun Oberoi for personally inviting me to come to this very grand function to celebrate one who has been a colossus in the field of hospitality. Even before India became independent, in 1947, he was a legend, having the largest chain of hotels that in the British India, you see, at that point of time, hotels in erstwhile Pakistan and then in northern India, in Shimla and other places. Here I am standing before you to talk about him. Someone spoke about being nervous. But really, I am nervous, you see. I am just like a person who is holding a cup of coffee and he is about to sneeze. So he doesn't know. He doesn't know where the coffee will spill over. Because firstly, I am talking about someone about whom you people know. But what I know about him, possibly you don't know. Therefore, I am here to share with you my experiences. Therefore, I have to talk about myself also while talking about the great Rai Bahadur MS Oberoi. Another reason for my nervous stress is that I'm speaking to such a distinguished gathering of eminent experts, specialists who have virtually given their life in the field of hospitality. Hospitality I use in a broader sense, not just running hotels and restaurants, but all other areas connected with the hospitality sector. You have achieved something, you see, of which not only the Oberoi group, but Rai Bahadur would have been very proud of. It is just like, I'm giving an example, I'm not glorifying myself. It is just like people who have joined my office as lawyers, they eventually became judges of the High Court, they became the Chief Justices of India, and they have retired. But I am still on my feet here, I have not retired. Because as my very close and dear friend, late Mr. Nariman used to say, in India, lawyers do not retire, they just drop dead. So that is, you see, what the legal profession is about. But what I have learned, I'm going to share my experiences. What I have personally learned as a lawyer from a client, which is a very unusual feature. The lawyers, you see, tell their clients. But here there was a client in the form of Rai Bahadur MS Oberoi, and later on you see also Mr. Vicky Oberoi, Mr. Tiki Oberoi, and Mr. Gautam Khanna. They were all involved, you see, in my early years. Now, how I came to be introduced to this great man for whom we are having this memorial lecture. This was way back, I think in early 1965, when I was called by Mr. Gautam Khanna. He had his office at that time at Imperial Hotel, Mercury Travels office. That was just before you enter the main building, there was a office of Mercury Travels. He had somehow heard about me, and Mercury Travels were having a labor problem. So I was asked, you see, by Mr. Gautam Khanna if I could handle this dispute which related to bonus for the employees. I said yes, of course, and I was just 3 years in the profession at that time. I had started my profession in 1962, and in 1965 I was asked by Mr. Gautam Khanna, and as luck would have it, we succeeded in that case within a couple of months only. And then, thanks to Mr. Gautam Khanna, he said, I would like you to meet our chairman, Rai Bahadur MS Oberoi, because we are about to open, you see, our hotel in Delhi, that is this property, and which was still under completion at that point of time. But arrangements were being made that employment people had to be employed, their appointment letters were to be made, their service conditions were to be finalized. All that work had to be done. So at Imperial Hotel, that time Imperial was still with the Oberoi group, I was, you see, asked to meet Rai Bahadur MS Oberoi. So I met him. He said, Gautam has spoken very highly about you, but you are only 3 years in the profession. How will you handle all that? I said, sir, given full cooperation and understanding of the situation, I'll try to do my best. And he said, oh, you are like the Young Turks. At that time, there was a, you see, movement going on of the Young Turks. Mr. Chandrasekhar, who became eventually Prime Minister, he was leader of the Young Turk group. I said, I treat you as a Young Turk. But then Mr. Vicky was slightly reluctant. He said, Daddy, you know, he's just a new person. How will he handle such a sensitive and important matter and all that? Then Mr. Tiki Oberoi said, Vicky, give him a chance, you see. He deserves to get a chance, you see. And Then Rai Bahadur said, yes, okay, we engage you at a monthly retainer of rupees 220, which was a big amount. No, that was a big amount. It could take off some of our basic needs, you see. And so, but I was very happy. That was the beginning, and I used to come here in the basement. There is one Mr. Kundru. He was the personnel manager. He used to sit there, and I used to sit with him, and we used to draft the letters, the service conditions, and all that. So that was the beginning. Then, out of a disaster, came the opportunity for me. What was the disaster? The disaster was that Oberoi Hotel had lost Imperial Hotel in New Delhi. There was a lease between Sardar Bahadur Ranjit Singh ji and Rai Bahadur MS Oberoi. And Sardar Bahadur Ranjit Singh had filed a case of breach of lease by that we had sublet certain areas of the hotel without his permission and all that. And you know, that matter went right up to the Supreme Court. I was not handling, fortunately. Right up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, yes, there is a breach of agreement, therefore you have to vacate. Now, that was a very testing time for Rai Bahadur also and for the entire organization, because it was a massive exercise. But Rai Bahadur, that is another quality of him. You see. He had really fallen in love with Imperial Hotel. He had nurtured it to make it the jewel of Delhi. The embellished furniture, the regal paintings and everything in Imperial, that was lavish. So he was virtually in love with Imperial Hotel, and that was a big loss. But he gave an offer to Sardar Bahadur Ranjit Singh that you take it as a running hotel from me and we can decide about the terms. But before they could sit for the terms, Sardar Bahadur Ranjit Singh said, nothing doing. I want the hotel in the same condition as I had given to you in 1939. Now that hurt, you see, the self-respect of Rai Bahadur. That is the other quality. No compromise when your self-respect comes in. He said, okay, I'll give the hotel to you back in the same condition. We uprooted all the marble, which was the lavish marble, you see, which was in the corridors, in the washrooms, all the paintings, all the regal furniture, you know, of top class, which you could not find at any other hotel at that point of time. We removed everything. And can you imagine, we even uprooted those palm trees, and they were shifted, you see, to Rai Bahadur's farm and planted there, and they are still there. So that was, you see, that when his self-respect was hurt, he said, okay, I'll give it back to you. That is how it was given back. That saw my involvement, you see, with the Oberoi Group in a very major way, not just as a labor law consultant. Because the Sardar Bahadur Ranjit Singh had filed a case of rupees 10 crores claiming damages, you know. At that time, 10 crores would be about 1,000 crores now. And we had to contest that suit. My suggestion, along with some senior counsel whom I consulted, we said, let us give it to him item by item without going into the quality of the item. If it was a carpet, okay, we give something similar to what we used to call those daris. You know, daris are in Punjabis, we have daris or some, if you have a pen holder, very artistically done, Just get it from Chavdi Bazaar. You see some holders with the nip pins and all that. And we gave everything item by item, but obviously not of the same quality. That quality was not available at that time. And whatever was available, we had put it in some other hotels there at that point of time. So eventually what happened was that the suit was dismissed, but only 1.5 lakhs were given to Rai Bahadur, Sardar Bahadur Ranjit Singh, because that was a security deposit which we had kept and it had to be refunded. So that was actually the beginning of the confidence that Rai Bahadur and Mr. Biki and Mr. Tiki, they reposed in me along with Mr. Gautam Khanna. During this time, I kept my status as an independent lawyer. I was working, you see, for the industry also. And my contact was with some of the most illustrious names at that time in the field of hospitality industry. That is besides the Oberoi family. That is Rai Bahadur, Mr. Biki, Mr. Tiki, Mr. Gautam Khanna, Netra Rana, and all other people. That is besides that. Those illustrious names were that of Mr. P.P.S. Lamba, Mr. J.S. Bhatia, Mr. K.L. Grover, Mr. Pratap Singh Dhal, Mr. T.K. Sibal, Mr. Deepak Madhok, and among the managers whom I distinctly remember, Mr. Santosh Kumar, Mr. Azhar Siddiqui, Mr. Nirvan Kumar, our friend Mr. Chani Pentel, who is here, Ravinder Sibal, Mr. Anil Madok, Mr. SSL Kapoor, Mr. Shashi Pancholi, and Mr. Johar. These are the few names I could remember. There were many more. At the corporate side, we had the brilliant mind of one of the best company secretaries which I have seen in my career as a lawyer, that is Mr. Ramlal Chaudhary. At 4 Mango Lane, Kolkata, he used to manage, you see, the affairs of the Oberoi group of hotels, including the flagship company, the East India Hotels, and so many others. He was very ably supported by Mr. S. Banerjee, who was the Deputy Company Secretary, and later on joined by Mr. S. Mukherjee. I don't know whether he still continues to be a part of the corporate sector, but he played a very important role. And during this time, we used to visit the farm to meet Rai Bahadur. And there were two faces I don't forget. One was Munir, his personal attendant, and his cook, Mr. Khayali. They used to give us amazing lunch, you see, whenever we used to go for the meetings. Therefore, what is it that I have learned, you see, over my long association? That repose confidence in others. It required a lot of courage on the part of Rai Bahadur and his sons to repose confidence in a lawyer who was just 3 years in the profession. And after that, we continued, you see, this long association. Then second is, even if you lose, take it gracefully, as Rai Bahadur did. He lost Imperial, but he took it gracefully, gave the offer to him to take it. He said, no, I won't take it. He said, okay, don't take it then. No compromise on self-respect. Then not to give up and fight for your right. That brings me, you see, to my area of activity, that don't give up. There were certain sensational matters which we fought for the Oberoi group, but eventually which helped, you see, the entire hospitality industry. That is the beauty of it. At that time, in early 70s, the sales tax authorities used to levy sales tax on whether you have American plan or European plan or the room rates. Sales tax used to be levied. So I studied the situation and I told Rai Bahadur that, you see, this sales tax is not leviable. It is beyond their jurisdiction to levy this sales tax. He said, are you sure? Because everyone is paying sales tax. I said, no, I'm sure. We can take it to the court. We took it to the court. We lost the matter, you see, in the High Court. We lost the matter before the division bench of the High Court. Then Rai Bahadur said, what do you want to do now? I said, sir, give me one more chance. I want to take it to the Supreme Court, you see, by way of a challenge. But this is a very important issue. He said, okay, go ahead, do it. We went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, a bench headed by Justice Pathak, Justice Bhagwati, Justice Krishna Iyer, they held that there is no sale of food. It is a service. For the first time, this distinction was brought out between sale and service, and we cited some American judgments also to say that a restaurant owner or a hotel owner, they utter services, they don't sell anything. And if you go to a restaurant, you just don't go to eat food there. You go for the ambience, you see, you go for the music, you go for the air conditioning, you go for the quality of service, quality of your silver which you serve. The Supreme Court, in that landmark judgment, which was delivered in the year 1972 and affirmed again in 1978, held that no sales tax can be levied. And do you know what was the consequence of this judgment? That our constitution had to be amended to include, by way of amendment in Article 146, you see, to introduce that even service of food would amount to a sale and all that. Still those matters are going on because various states have not enacted those laws in that time. So that was a judgment which affected the entire industry, you see, entire industry benefited out of it. Then there was case of section 80O of the Income Tax Act. That, you see, highlighted that for management contracts, you have to pay tax on that. By that time, Oberoi Hotels had agreement with Solti and with Lanka Oberoi. Therefore, whatever fee we were getting, you see, that was considered to be taxable by the income tax authorities. We said this is not a management contract, it is we are rendering our expertise, you see, to run and operate these hotels. Therefore, make a distinction between management and operations of the hotels. Finally, the matter again went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court held, yes, this is not like a management contract. There is no parting, you see, of possession of the property. They come as glorified corporate managers for you, and they provide their expertise. So that was one case which again, you see, subsequently many chains had gone overseas and entered into management contracts. They all benefited by that. One landmark case which Rai Bahadur was very keen on with regard to Syndicate Bank having their huge bank premises at the Oberoi Sheraton at that time in Bombay. A huge area was taken by the Syndicate Bank because we had taken loans from the Syndicate Bank. So as a quid pro quo, they said, you give us this area on a license basis. But then we needed those premises very badly to meet our huge expenses for running the Oberoi Sheraton. And Rai Bahadur said, how do we find a way out? How do we do it? So what happened was that there was a fire in that area. When that fire took place, management had to take certain steps. We took possession of that entire area and we never handed back that area, you see, to the syndicate bank, and that is how that area remained with us. There was a property tax issue with the Lanka Oberoi owners. We said, you have to pay the property tax. They said, no, it is the operator, the manager, you people, Oberoi hotels have to pay the property tax. The matter went for arbitration to the one former Chief Justice of Sri Lanka. And I must say, in fairness, His Lordship, the Chief Justice, former Chief Justice, he decided that no, it is the owner who has to pay. But this would not have arisen because Rai Bahadur never wanted a confrontation. But it was at that point of time that Mr. Vicky Oberoi said that, Daddy, if we don't challenge this now, it will happen to all the hotels all over wherever we have the management contract. They will say liability of property tax is on the operator. So that is how it was done and we achieved the desired result. Rai Bahadur was very particular about his name. Not his name personally, the family name, the Oberoi. Oberoi. There was someone who set up a small hotel with a restaurant in Cochin. At that time it was called Cochin. In Cochin with the name Oberoi Hotel and some restaurant. Now that came to Rai Bahadur's notice. No, someone, yeah. It does happen with technology these days. Okay. So, yeah, please, no alarm, there is no alarm. Please take your seats. Yeah, you are all safe. Okay, so that someone brought it to the notice. Yeah, may I have your attention now, please? Yeah. So someone brought it to the notice of Rai Bahadur that there is this small property in Cochin and they have the name Oberoi. Now, Oberoi hotels were not registered at that time either under the trademark or the Copyright Act, but there is something which is known as passing off. He says, he used to call me not Lalit, he used to say Lalit. Lalit, you have to do something because I don't want anyone to use my name because that people will think that we run such substandard hotels and restaurants in the country if that name is attached there. So, we went to Cochin, we fought the case there, and the court held that the word Oberoi has become, like a trade name. It is known across the country. So even if that person who had a surname of Oberoi, that owner of that hotel, you cannot use your surname because Oberoi is already a trade name known in the country. So that was the first case and possibly the only case of its kind which was decided, and that is what goes with the name. When this hotel was started, there was a law that Indians cannot have a drink here. So one day I got a message late evening from Rai Bahadur himself that Lalit, our bar license has been suspended, our bar is closed because there was a raid and they found some Indians, having drink in the bar. What is to be done? I say, very well, let me just look into it. I sat throughout the night. I prepared a writ petition. At that time, I called my secretary steno. the old typewriter, he typed everything, and you see, we prepared something, went it in early morning for attestation and got it attested. And then I went to Mr. C.K. Daftari, who was the former Attorney General of India, one of the most brilliant lawyers and a good friend of Rai Bahadur, M.S. Oberoi. I went to him, I said, sir, license is suspended and we have to move the court. He said, go, you mention the matter, I will come at lunchtime. So Mr. Daftari came to the High Court, appeared before a bench where there was Justice Hardyal Hardy. Now, Hardyal Hardy had been a brilliant lawyer before he was elevated, you see, as a judge. And he was very fond of his drink also in the evening, and possibly Mr. Daftari and Mr. Hardy had shared some drinks along with Rai Bahadur sometimes, you know. So matter came before Justice Hardy's bench. Daftari just looked into the eyes of Justice Hardy and said, my lord, so many people have been deprived of their means of sustenance. Hardy said, stay, notice, everything. You see, that is. We talk of Nari Shakti these days. It was the Oberoi management under Rai Bahadur who brought in female employees for the first time in the hospitality industry. We had to take special exemptions which we justified from the authorities, particularly with regard to the working hours, the late night shift, you see, and being in the acting as bartenders and you're taking the guests to the bar rooms and housekeeping and all that. Because unlike the other countries where the culture was that please avail of the services of the chambermaid. We said, so it was he for the first time who introduced, you see, this Nari Shakti in India. But he had a dream. What he dared to dream, he would succeed also. He had a dream to have a hotel in Mumbai. Land was there, but there was no money. We finalized, possibly Mr. Naveen Jain would remember, we finalized an agreement with USAID for PL 480 loans with great difficulty. And that was the only loan given, you see, by the USAID. We got the loan, somehow completed the hotel in Bombay, but then how to run it? We again needed funds. So we evolved a scheme which was unknown till that point of time. And Rai Bahadur gave a go-ahead to that, to take deposits from the public. Now, if there was any default even in one deposit, you see, the entire amount of deposit spread all over would be recalled. That was the risk. So I told Rai Bahadur, I said, this is the risk. He said, no, we'll take that risk. But he managed the things in a way, along with Mr. Ramlal Chaudhary and Mr. J.S. Bhatia, that huge amounts of money had come in and there was not a single default which was committed. And that is how, you see, the Oberoi Sheraton became functional. Then, as they say, luck favors the brave. We had the Arab traffic coming in, you see, in a big way from UAE and other countries. So that is how, but then it was a big competition to the iconic Taj hotel there. But just see the greatness of these two persons, Rai Bahadur and JRD. Rai Bahadur invited JRD for a lunch at the Outrigger restaurant. in Mumbai, and JRD readily agreed. So I was given the responsibility as the youngest director of the board of directors of East India Hotels to receive JRD and to bring him, you see, to the outrigger. So that was the greatness of these two people. They were rivals. They were very fierce competitors in that during that time because there were no other good hotels in that area. But they after that they worked harmoniously, you see. That meeting was so important, and I had the privilege to be a part of that famous lunch which took place, you see, in the outrigger restaurant. Then of course we had so many management contracts. One thing which I learned from Rai Bahadur and which I still follow: do not have any negative clauses. I say, but we must have negative clauses. If someone is saying that, no, you have to do it in this way, we don't agree, we have to tell them, no, this is not acceptable. He said, no, don't say it is not acceptable. You say there may be other ways and means to overcome this issue. Always, whether it is in correspondence, whether in the agreements, he said, I suggest to you don't use the negativity. Although Mr. Bicky was not in agreement with him, he said we have to be very firm. He said no, we can be firm, but without saying no to anything. We can say no in many other ways than just saying no to that. That was one great achievement again. Then we had hotels. That is where I think I had some major role to play. The rise of the Oberoi Hotel Group in the international arena, I was a very integral part of it. Because the first management contracts, they were all drafted by me personally, and I think those drafts have stood the test of time. They are still being used by various companies, various corporates, some of them, of course, competitors of the Oberoi Group. But even Oberoi Group has, you see, has made some changes in those drafts, but the essential draft remains the same. And during my tenure as the legal advisor also, we had the hotel in Kathmandu, Solti, then Colombo Oberoi, Singapore. Rai Bahadur was so fond of Imperial Hotel, he named that hotel also Imperial Singapore. Initially it was Imperial Singapore. Then Cairo, Mina House, Melbourne, some places where the contract did not materialize were the Canary Islands. We used to visit Spain, you see, to finalize the agreements. In Madrid, we visited Tehran many times with the Hindujas. That also did not materialize. But just see, we opened a hotel in Zanzibar, and both Mr. T.K. Sibal and I had gone there, you see, and signed that and opened that hotel. With Mr. Gautam Khanna, I visited Zambia, Lusaka, to open hotels there, you see, and see the famous Victoria Falls, which are, they say, much better than the Niagara Falls in the US. And Dar es Salaam, Lagos, Lusaka. That is where my role came in, you see, as a legal advisor. His deep faith in me is known by one fact, which I think is astounding. We were in Singapore, and some letter had to be given where some calculations had to be included in the letter, which letter to be written to the owning company. And Rai Bahadur had to leave for Delhi for a very important meeting. What he did was, he gave me blank signed letter blank signed letter, which I still have with me. He said, whatever you is there, you please write it down and give it to them because these calculations have to be made. That was the trust. And the love and affection that he had is also reflected in the every year I used to receive birthday cards on my birthday. Some are signed in 94, some are signed in 2000, all these, every year. That was the bonding, you see, that I had with him. And Mr. Vicky Oberoi played a very important role. But he was never happy that I was advising others also, others in the industry. But I told him that Mr. Vicky, I want to be in a position where I can shake hands with you as a lawyer, but not as your employee. He said, I'll make you senior vice president. I said, no, sir, I'll remain a lawyer. And I remained a lawyer. But my very interesting and soothing moments were, which I spent with Mr. Tiki Oberoi at the Maidens. He's a remarkable man, but with clarity of mind. In so many matters, wherever Rai Bahadur consulted him, he always used to give his advice. And my office was there, a small office near the swimming pool at the back side of the Maidens Hotel, and very close to where Mr. Tiki had the apartment. And we used to have lunch very often, sometimes also in the presence of Mrs. Yuta Oberoi. Well, Arjun was still a toddler at that point of time. And not, but those were the times, you see, which I had with the family. But I attribute my rise in the profession to my initial grooming by Rai Bahadur. That trust and faith that he had in me, it served me in the long stead. It gave me opportunity to meet the top lawyers of the country, to have interaction with them, then to have meetings with the topmost international lawyers when we were negotiating the management contracts, you see, and other contracts in other countries. This would not have been possible had I not been a part of the legal team of the Oberoi Hotel. And I made use of that. I have no hesitation in saying, I made use of that grooming. I became chairman of the Bar Council. I became president of the Bar Association of India. I became president of the Society of Indian Law Firms. But I give that credit to that one man, Rai Bahadur M.S. Oberoi.